He was the biggest name of the rockin' wrestling 80s. He helped create a second boom period in the 90s, and he's still rocking a bandana like nobody's business. He's Hulk Hogan, and just like few have ever ascended to the heights of Hulkamania, so too have few wrestlers ever been surrounded by such controversy. I'm Senor Siete for 7 Wrestling, and let's take a look at Hulk Hogan's biggest scandals. 7 Wrestling is proud to be your home for informative and hilarious wrestling lists. If you enjoy this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leg drop that notification bell. Number 1. Knocks out a talk show host. Hitting the late night circuit to promote a wrestling event is fairly common these days. Sometimes you have to dress up for a silly skit, sometimes you do a funny dance, but Hulk Hogan proved that he was a true innovator when he put a talk show host in the hospital. And no, we're not talking about his train wreck of a match against Jay Leno. We're talking about the time the Hulkster knocked the late Richard Belzer unconscious with a front chinlock during an episode of Belzer's Hot Properties talk show. Hogan and his tag team partner Mr. T were appearing on the program to promote their upcoming WrestleMania tag team main event against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. Belzer, now best known for his role as Detective John Munch in the Law & Order series of television shows, did what all 80s TV personalities did and questioned the authenticity of professional wrestling, even asking Hogan to put him in a wrestling hold. Hogan, who in his heart is an old school guy, did what old school wrestlers did and cinched in a hold to prove just how real it is. Well, it got very real as the much smaller Belzer went limp almost immediately and a panicked Hogan let him drop to the ground. The result was a serious gash on the back of Belzer's head that required 9 stitches to repair. When it was all said and done, the lawsuit that resulted from Hogan's questionable antics went all the way to the Supreme Court, with Belzer and Hogan eventually setting out of court for an undisclosed amount of money. And while we don't know that exact figure, we do know that it was enough for Belzer to purchase a home in France that he dubbed Chez Hogan. Hilarious. Number 2. Hogan betrays the boys. You would think that someone who signs an exclusive contract with a corporation would be an employee, earning them rights and benefits, but no. WWE superstars are considered independent contractors, which is insane because they sign exclusive contracts. They can't ply their trades just anywhere. However, former Minnesota governor and current conspiracy theorist Jesse Ventura tried to put a stop to this in the mid-80s by rallying the wrestlers together to form a union. According to Ventura, he held a locker room meeting prior to WrestleMania 2 and encouraged the wrestlers to boycott the show unless Vince McMahon gave in to their demands to unionize the talent pool. McMahon learned of Ventura's actions and immediately threatened to fire him. Ventura, who was already a member of the Screen Actors Guild due to his performance in Predator, relented, saying if the guys were too dumb to do it themselves, then that's on them. Years later, when Ventura sued McMahon over royalties, it came out that McMahon learned about the union meeting from none other than the Hulkster himself. When asked why Hogan would do such a thing, Jesse Ventura said, "We got the records of WrestleMania 3, the big one, him and Andre. Well, Hogan made more money than all of us combined, including Andre, so naturally, he didn't want a union." Number 3. Lying to Arsenio. Speaking of Hogan embarrassing himself on talk shows, rumors of steroid abuse had haunted the Hulkster for years. For some reason, I don't know. And when his name mysteriously showed up in the documents of a physician convicted of steroid distribution, Hogan felt the need to clear his name. So, he went on the Arsenio Hall show and lied his face off. The Immortal One claimed that he had always been abnormally big, and that he had only used steroids 3 times when they were prescribed by a doctor and they were to rehab injuries. And boy, did nobody believe him. And with good cause, as years later, at Vince McMahon's steroid trial, Hogan would admit to a bit more steroid use. Hogan would go on to call this interview the biggest mistake of his life in his autobiography, but at least he knew to loosen up when he put the host in a headlock. No Chez Hogan for you, Arsenio. Number 4. General Fibbery. Okay, as well as being known for demandments and 24-inch pythons, Hulk Hogan is known for being a world-class worker, or a better term for that is liar. The Hulkster's Arsenio blunder is just the most famous and damaging example of him being caught stretching the truth. But there are so many more. So many that we're just going to focus on one more. No, not Hulk claiming that Andre the Giant died immediately after he slammed him at WrestleMania 3. Andre actually died 6 years later. or that Metallica wanted him to be their new bass player, even though Lars Ulrich told Howard Stern that was BS, or that Elvis was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, although Elvis would have no way of knowing who Hogan was as Elvis died before Hogan ever wrestled in Memphis. No, let's talk about the Hulk Hogan tune Hulkster in Heaven, off of the Hulk Hogan and the Wrestling Boot Band album Hulk Rules. That's a lot of Hulk. In this spoken word ditty, Hogan gives a Make-A-Wish kid a front row ticket to Wembley Stadium to watch the Hulkster wrestle in the main event. But when the match starts and Hogan sees an empty front row seat, he's saddened to realize that there's one more Hulkamaniac in heaven, which is heartbreaking, until you realize that the WWE only ever promoted a single show at Wembley Stadium, and Hulk Hogan was not on that show. Oh, brother. Number 5, Toy Story. All right, we've hit drugs, assault, betraying your own profession, dying kids. Let's bring it up a bit before we finish off with some of the big ones. The Hulkster got himself in a bit of trouble back in 1993 during a press conference in Japan when he challenged the Great Muta for the IWGP Championship. That, in and of itself, wouldn't be so bad, but at the time, Hogan was the reigning WWF champion. And to accentuate his point, he called the WWF Championship a toy, or an ornament on a Christmas tree. Now, in the pre-internet age, something like this would usually never get back to the States, but in this case, it absolutely did. Like we said earlier, this was a minor incident, but it certainly didn't endear the Hulkster to any WWE fans. Number 6, Family Affair. There's a certain photo that made the rounds on the internet of the Immortal One applying sunscreen to his daughter Brooke's posterior, which in a vacuum might be questionable, or a parent showing concern for the sun's harmful rays or whatever. I just said a lot of things, let's move on. The point is, despite there being a little bit of circumstantial evidence of some grossness between Hogan and Brooke, like the time he was in attendance for her sexy Maxim photo shoot, okay, I'll stop, moving on. The point is, during the breakdown of his marriage with his wife Linda, apparently Hogan did have an inappropriate relationship with Brooke's close friend Christine Plant. Christine confirmed this relationship and expressed regret that she had betrayed Hogan's daughter, saying that she had lost an amazing friend. Brooke's response was understandable when she posted to MySpace. Wait, MySpace? Remember that? Sorry, she said, when your best friend and one of your closest family members that you have loved unconditionally since your first day on this earth betray you together, you could maybe find it yourself to forgive one day, but you will never forget the hurt they caused you and how it hurt the people who mean the most to you. Oof. When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. Number 7, Sex, Slurs, and Videotape. Well, here we are, the big one, the one that got Hogan banned from the WWE for years, the one that tarnished the once proud name of Hulkamania forever, talking about the opening of Hulk Hogan's Pastamania restaurant at the Mall of America. Just kidding. We're obviously talking about the sex tape. Long story short, in 2007, Hulk Hogan had consensual relations with radio shock jock Bubba the Love Sponge's wife, Heather Clem. And when we say consensual, we mean everybody consented, even Mr. Sponge. While that might not be the norm, there's certainly nothing wrong with it as long as everybody's on the same page. Where everybody wasn't on the same page was that Bubba and Heather had been recording the sessions without the Hulkster's knowledge. And what's worse is, during pre-intercourse conversations with Bubba, the Hulkster used quite a few racial and homophobic slurs. When it was all said and done, Hogan sued Bubba, Hogan sued Gawker, the company that publicized the leaked sex tape, but the damage had been done. The WWE cut ties with the Hulkster for years, and nobody has really viewed him the same way ever since. Well, there's our list. Did we forget any Hulk Hogan scandals? If so, please leave them in the comment section below. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, I'm Senior Siete for 7 Wrestling saying bye-bye.